to just say, if you were the kid of this mobster who, and there's these contradictions where he does love his family, but he's got this business and he's got this oath that he puts above everything. Being that kid would be a tough assignment. And
it's true.
But as any kid, he does rebel, and he rebels in some pretty dramatic ways.
It does, and even further, AJ was a total dipshit. In fact, I think he's one of the few actors on that show that never really went on to continued acting. I guess we're grateful for that. Meadow, on the other hand, it's like, was with Carmelo having an affair with the milkman, because AJ and Meadow couldn't be any different apart. Like, Meadow is driven, he's intelligent, and outspoken. Like, he's trying to be a lawyer, but specifically for like civil rights people or like social work. AJ is just like a fuck up.
Do you guys watch the podcast with the two of them?
I haven't, no, I haven't. But I was going to say that
You should check it out.
Yeah, Meadow also pushed the boundaries, especially when, Tony interfered when she tried to date a black guy. And it's one of the best episodes, talking about coming of age. I just rewatched it, so it's a little fresh in mind.
Let me add this.
Let's get about it real quick. Sorry. Yeah, thank you. One of the best episodes, and I can relate because one of the kids in my high school in Jersey, shocking, their dad was, they're like big mob, like Googleable. And so I can only imagine when my classmate Sue realized as she was getting older what daddy really does. And there's a great episode, dating, like on AOL, like, the limited computers they had, internet access they had back then. And they're reading articles about their dad, and I was like, don't you know what dad does? But at the end, though, it was interesting art to see, though, that at the end of the day, though, like, there's a really powerful scene where Tony was like, to Meadow, he's like, you got something to say to me? And she just breaks down or whatever, but at the end of the day, she does end up remaining loyal to the patriarch. Thank you, Doctor. Or the driver, Jay. Sorry.
So I was just going to say, okay, imagine Ivanka Trump is sitting there talking to her therapist, and she says, my dad is an asshole, and he may be a pedophile. And her therapist turns to her and said, yes, Ivanka, this is true. How does this make you feel? And she says, I really want to speak out, but I can't because he may disown me. Now, he may not be able to take my money, but he may ostracize me. He may make Don Jr. the golden child. Like, I envision that. God, I should fucking write a book about it. I think that this is what goes on. Like, imagine she's in a position, she knows some of his deepest secrets. We're not. And yet she's in no position to challenge him because he would ostracize her, is my guess. Or he would, put pressure on media sources or something. Like, I think this is what she faces. I almost have empathy for her.
See, people would listen. See, I think you don't understand how people will judge you when they hear you speculating about this topic even. So, as like a some advice about, being a publicist.
Judge away, John. Judge the hell out of me.
I'm just saying what you are suggesting, Dr. Jordan, is so disgusting and so revolting if you're wrong. I'm just saying that, like, what you're putting out there into the ether, it's vulgarity.
Wait, what I'm saying? I'm just saying what's the likely scenario. Why is that vulgar? It's just possibly... I don't know that he's a pedophile, but let's just say, do you think that that's an unlikely scenario for her to sit in front of her therapist and talk like that?
Yeah, I think so, 100%. See, the thing is, I could easily bounce that back and say you're actually describing the Joe Biden administration and what he did to his daughter in the shower and from the diary. So it's like, but I've also seen the video. The thing is, I don't know, I don't have children, and I'm just saying, to me, this is all vulgarity. I like the gossip show, but I also, don't like this type of lashon hara against the sitting president of the United States of America. To me, it's just like
John, do
kind
you
of low
think, John,
class.
do you think too much of your happiness? Because you did say earlier that you're suffering in Illinois with your retarded Democratic governor. But do you think you may be putting too many eggs of happiness in the Trump basket? I mean, what are you going to do when he finishes his fifth or sixth term? How are you going to carry on when he, God forbid, and I hope you're sitting down and maybe have a strong drink next to you when I say these really, terrifying words. What will you do when he actually dies?
Moose, it's not just Trump. It's Tom Holman on Fox News saying, being very happy and having a big smile. Seeing the head of, our mass deportation effort happy on Fox News saying, if these Democrats obstruct us, we will arrest them or we need more action. I'm just saying, in
You're not
comparison to
answering the
Kamala and
question,
Waltz,
John.
I am.
My point
I
is that I
am.
think there's a little too much identity worship with MAGAs and Trump versus the Dems and Biden and Clinton
You
and
gotta
down
understand,
the
it
road.
is not identity worship. It is me being a Taoist or believing in the opposite, which was Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. When I know that Trump and JD Vance are the leaders of this country versus what could have been, that's what truly gives me the happiness. It takes Kamala Harris and Tim Walz to make me happy. I hope you understand that, Moose.
So it's less what Trump's about and more what the alternative was. Got it.
Exactly. And I ask Grok that all the time. Please give me the contrarian position to my question. And then it corrects itself and gives me the information I'm actually looking for.
Can I just point out that we do not have enough votes here for the poll? The poll is asking, do you regret your vote, your 2024 vote? And so, for those of you that have not yet voted in the poll is posted above. Please take a look at it. And if you don't have an option, that's fine. That would be a perfectly viable reason to not vote. But because I don't want to skew the results just because you want to peek at the results. But absolutely. Go ahead.
Jarl said, fuck George Washington in the chat. Jarl, one day maybe you'll be able to come to America. I don't know where you live, but you will experience the incredible, glory and beauty of this country. It goes on and on and on. Have you ever driven through Texas? It just goes on and on and on and on.
Do you think Washington never lied?
I haven't read the letters of George Washington. There's a lot of things, we need to do in terms of edumacation. But, of course, I'm sure he maybe told a lie and, asked for forgiveness and made atonement.
But I think the more important piece of this is that we once had this belief that we wanted to prop up our founders, and we wanted to make heroes out of them. And then we put them through a critical lens, and we said, okay, maybe they were, flawed humans like every human. But now we've gotten to a point where we don't want heroes at all. As soon as somebody does something that you argue is heroic, we want to search for the things that would make them flawed. And I don't think that that's a good idea moving forward. We should have heroes. We should have people that we can point to say, hey, look, what that guy did in his day was pretty fucking incredible. And then you can go ahead and say that those times had policies and social norms that you would oppose today. But if you isolate for in that time was this person doing something exceptional, I would say anybody that that was willing to throw the tyranny of Britain off of us, I think they deserve our respect.
Tina Turner would disagree.
The Prophet Muhammad? Well, listen, if you could point out the good things that he's done, that's cool. All I can say is that in the Hadith that Aisha wrote, she acknowledged the fact that she married him when she was 6 and they consummated when she was 9. So all I have right now is that he's a pedophile and that the members of this pedophile death cult are very forgiving of that fact. Now, give me the heroic things that he's done, please.
I mean, Kiva, you knew that was coming, right?
I did not. I just wanted to bring this point right back to him. Clearly, this is clearly Muhammad a lot of people are things clearly.
Name one. Name one.
Come on, be real about it.
Name one.
He created one of the biggest religions on the planet.
Yeah, listen, Christianity and Islam are both Torah fan fiction. Nothing more, nothing less.
See, there's different types of Torah fan fiction. Not many people have read Zohar or Tanya. See, the Jewish book club or the Jewish publishing industry is vast. Jews love books, and I have many, many Jewish education books. And
That's racist.
so basically what I'm saying is if you read Zohar, it's like, or this other book called the Sefer HaAgadah, the Book of Legends. It's more stories about the stories. So it'll take Moses sitting in the mountains talking to his generals, and they'll be talking about war strategy. It's like, that's why I say it's kind of like the Torah comic book club or fan fiction, you know. So I'm just saying there's no limits to creating news stories about the stories. I mean, because people in the future, you know, hopefully they'll pick up that media and, you know, recreate it. And I love reading books onto YouTube because a lot of the stuff from the 60s and 70s, which was very profound, it's not necessarily digitized now. Like, you could go to their foundations and maybe find some of the materials, but there's a lot of mind-blowing, profound books, just like Zohar, that, you know, if you can reproduce it into YouTube and get people to experience this divine, mystic, you know, experience, it's really profound psychology, but it is in a way like fiction hypnosis, but it rings true. So it's just alternative media.
Yeah, I just want to say real quick, both of you guys are going to hell. You didn't know that.
Wait, why do you think we're going to hell?
Because of the way that you speak about the Bible.
Oh, really? What did I say about the Bible that would cast me into hell?
You know what you said.
Well, I
This
think
man said that the Bible was Torah fan fiction, and then you went on with it like it was nothing. You didn't stop his demonic energy, so you're going to hell with him.
Well, is it projection? I'm just asking you. Are you projecting your own hell onto us right now?
Mother, can I offer a challenge here? I will bet that I know scripture in this Torah fan fiction that you call the Holy Bible better than you do.
I mean,
That's my challenge.
I spent 10 years going to church every weekend, and I'm going to church right now every weekend, so, I mean, it would be competitive. I don't know how religious you are, but I do go to church twice a week every week.
I'm not religious, but I am a man of letters. So let's.
What does that mean?
Well, I read. And
Are you saying the only legit religion is Judaism?
well, of that you know, school of books. It's kind of like this is how I feel about it, right? The original trilogy in Star Wars, to me, that's the source material, right? And that was the creation of George Lucas. And then in all of those things that you have, like the prequels and the sequels and all the spin-offs, that would be Star Wars fan fiction. The same way of the Holy Bible, and the same way with the Quran.
This is
That
demonic.
was a long-winded yes to my question. Got it. Thank you. Carry on.
Okay, back to Mother. Mother, can you give me your interpretation of 2 Kings chapter 2?
I don't have that memorized. I don't know what that is.
This is when the prophet Elisha was being teased by kids and prayed for the Lord's help. And then out of the forest came 2 bears that mauled 47 children. Can you explain to me what that means to you?
So I'm going to finish taking this shit. I'm going to go open the Bible that I have in my living room, and I'm going to read the passage, and then analyze it, and then respond. This gotcha that we're doing right here is, I find to be odd.
Not a gotcha at all. Not a gotcha at all.
You were so compelled to tell the whole room you're taking a shit. Very odd.
Mother, I'm trying, despite the fact that I know you're taking a shit, I'm going to say these words.
Mojo.
I want to meet you where you are.
Mojo, let me ask you, what do you think that means?
I think that it means that if you disrespect a prophet of the Lord, that the Lord will resort to violence to get revenge, which I think is an interesting concept. And it makes me wonder, when we see children bullying another child, would it be more godly if, let's say we're not Dr. Doolittle, we can't summons the bears, should we go and smack the shit out of kids that are bullying other kids? Because it sounds like that's the instruction, but maybe God wants to keep it in his hands and utilize bears to do his bidding.
Well, I mean, I always like to think about the micro and the macro, but that story to me sounds like thoughts, meaning that chaos and, all these children being mauled by a bear. It's kind of like that book, Lord of the Flies. It's like, who is the Lord of the Flies? Is it Beelzebub? Is it God? I mean, how do you respond to flies? A lot of people get freaked out when they see bugs.
Two mothers going, and apparently Polish shit is the flies god, because they clearly flies working shit.
Well, listen, if this room were Lord of the Flies, I think Hakima's definitely picky.
Oh man,
Now I gotta go watch it.
it's a wild book actually.
The book is 100 times better.
The Balthazar Getty film was okay, but that was an example of where the book is better than the film. Traditionally, people say that all the time. I'm in the camp that usually the movie is better than the book, and I've got countless examples of that if you'd like to talk about the movie.
Like, we can rattle off a few. One flew over the cuckoo's nest.
Jaws.
Actually, it was still good, but well, Jaws, yeah, you're immediately terrified.
Wise Guy versus Goodfellas.
Was Wicked a book? I don't know, that movie was wonderful. I saw it last weekend.
So did anybody see the moon last night?
Sure did. That was something.
So what is the men? I haven't put this to Grog or done a Google search yet, but are women's menstrual cycles actually tied to the moon?
Mother, what say you?
Yeah. I mean, men also have a menstrual cycle, right? I mean, it's not profound, but there are times of the month where men have higher levels of testosterone than other parts of the month. That is a thing. Men do have kind of like lower period.
So I heard this speaker the other day say that women have this Shakti power. It's a two-part. They are nesters, and they are also transcendent. What does anybody agree with that sentiment that women technically have these two different aspects that a man does not have? The man should be out of the nest, gathering, energy, harvesting resources, but the nester, and so men have a different task, women have a different task, or a different set of a basic game rule or their position, who they are. Is that why Kamala lost? Because the roles,
Dr. Catherine, hi!
The roles
How are
were
you?
inverted.
Wait, can you unmute John? I got to say hi to Dr. Catherine. Where did you get that?
Hello. You know what? I've been hanging out over there in Chatter, and I have to tell you a story about that. Jonathan Bing went off on me and lost his shit. And I decided, who are these people? Right? Where are my real people? And it's you people. So I'm coming back to Clubhouse.
Can you agree with me, Catherine? One second. Can you guys agree that Jonathan Bing is the worst thing that's ever happened to Chatter?
I don't know.
I like Jonathan Bing.
That. I do like him. I'm friends with him, but I can play you this clip. I can't even listen to it, but he just...
Please play the clip.
Oh boy. Okay. I can do that.
Spill the tea, Dr. Catherine. Spill the tea.
Yeah, you know I got tea. I got the tea. So this is what happened. He was going off on, how he had that kind of date, but maybe, we don't really know what they're doing. But he's the black guy, she's the blonde, beautiful one, and they have, I think they have a romance. But again, I've never met these people IRL, okay? So I can't say what they have.
They are very flirty together.
They're super flirty. Yeah, and sometimes he talks to her in a way that I think is very controlling. And so I was in the chat, like, you know, I'm a chat warrior most of the time, and in the chat I was like, Ben is controlling. And he lost it on me. Okay, Nelson sent it to me. Here it goes. Let me see if I can turn it up.
Oh.
Sorry guys, my phone on my. Here it goes.
That would be a great chat if you don't mind.
Explain that shit.
Because the unsung hero is the person that may not speak a lot, but every day that they can is open. That's not an unsung hero?
No, get the fuck up. Okay? Dr. Catherine, shut your fucking mouth, alright? Talking about someone's control. Alright? You dumb fucking ass. Alright? Don't you ever come in here with some bullshit and put somehow when someone's trying to handle the situation diplomatically as possible. I am tired of your fucking entitled ass with your fucking snarky ass fucking entitled fucking remarks. Get your fucking ass out of here, Dr. Catherine. I don't fucking need you here if that's how you fucking feel.
Damn, that was worse than I was expecting.
Fucking privilege, bitch. Fuck out of here.
Oh.
I'm tired of the bullshit.
He's not done. Okay. I think,
Fuck that. I don't want to hear no okay. Get the fuck out of here. You don't like what the fuck's going on. Because I've earned the diplomatic. Okay? And I wouldn't push it. I'm tired of your bullshit.
I accept your experience of what happened.
Whatever. It's not my fucking experience. I'm tired of the bullshit. I'm tired of the bullshit. Trying to fucking resolve something, and you're like, oh, fuck out of here, Dr. Catherine. Shit like you get fucking Midlands. Fuck out of here, that dumb shit. On the back of his head, dumb shit like that.
So,
Yo, that was so funny. I am sorry I didn't laugh, but I could not hold it back. When you said
Was that on the chatter? I've never been on chatter. Was that from chatter or Clubhouse?
That was a classy response. I accept your experience. I'm gonna take notes and save that, brother. I'm gonna use that at work.
Yeah, Catherine, it sounds like Dr. Catherine. It sounds like you meditate. You handled that very well.
well, it actually, I got that from raising teenagers and going to family therapy. And the therapist was like, you have to mirror and affirm and validate their experience of harm, even though you don't understand it or agree with it. Because you know how teenagers say crazy shit, and you're like, that's actually not happening. That is not how this went, right? But it is their experience that I want to validate because I care about the fact they're hurting. And when you try to refute it and tell them they're not experiencing something that they feel is very difficult for them, then they feel gaslit. Okay, so the example would be our kids complaining because they think their life is so hard and we're mean to them. And if we say, well, our parents used to beat us and we had to walk to school like 2 miles in the cold, that's not how you're supposed to parent. You're supposed to validate their experience of harm, and then they feel heard. And just accept it. Accept it as their experience. Don't try to refute it. It works.
You would thrive in corporate America, Catherine, because this is the type of like language that I have to use at the office. Like, but never be overly direct. Always, tiptoe around what you're actually trying to say, but just get your message.
But don't you believe
They
in?
do get angrier. They get angrier. Yeah, because they want you to bang back. He loves the bang. Like he wanted to create something out of that and make it go viral and stuff. And I'm not gonna. And when I say you're controlling and that you come off like that, you're basically just making your own case or making my case, right?
Yeah, you kind of.
Catherine, can you please submit a vote in the poll here? Do you regret your 2024 vote?
Oh, that's what we're talking about in the room. Okay, so I voted. Can I say what I voted already, Mojo, or are we waiting?
We can all see it.
Something first. I want to just say that I'm jealous of Dr. Catherine because she's such a sponge. She takes, if I took 1,000th of that amount of information away from all the therapy I had, I mean, I feel like I've done nothing with all the therapy I've had. I'm devastated.
Oh, maybe you did go to too much therapy. There is a sweet spot for therapy, and We'll talk about that in another room. I voted for Bernie, so I don't regret that at all.
I voted for Ron DeSantis in the primary, and then when Trump got the nomination, I voted for Kamala. And I'm very happy with both of those votes. And I would never vote for Donald Trump, ever in the history of my life. And my whole reason for not voting for him has been proven to be correct. I don't like his leadership style. I don't think his economic policies are not going to move the country farther ahead, which they aren't. And I don't think that he's good for America on an international level. Every reason that I had for voting for Kamala has come to fruition.
So, hold on, brother. Can you tell me what was Kamala Harris's plan to reduce the borrowing and spending that we have in this country?
Doesn't matter. That's not the reasons why I didn't vote for her. I didn't vote for Trump because I didn't like the way he ran the country. And I'm 100% correct in my current opinion of he's doing exactly what I would expect: chaos and confusion.
It was a good attempt, though, Mojo. I got you a moment to corner him. Harris was doomed. 137-year-old Biden never should have ran. I don't think he would have if it wasn't Trump. Chip on the shoulder. You did 50 years of service. Remarkable. Like, have a seat. Like, you're already President Moore. Like that, you can't top that resume. So he hands the baton over in the 11th hour to Harris. She didn't have a prayer. She didn't have a prayer.
Reluctantly, they actually took the baton and they forced it on her.
Yeah, pretty much. Exactly. He was stuck in his fucking diaper.